Hi everybody, I'm Angie Hunt and I'm back in the LDRS Creative Studio today. We're going to be talking about stencils today. We've got a second kit that we're going to have on HSN, and it's all about creating a scene with gorgeous, gorgeous stencils. So we do our stencils like none you've probably ever seen before. We're very, very much about making sure that you can create an entire scene with just one stencil. And so in each of these stencil kits that we're bringing to HSN, we've actually got 4 stencils in each kit. They've each got a die set as well. And and we've got instructions for you too. So, but today you're joining me because I want to give you a little tutorial and maybe some tips and tricks on how I like to use the holiday cheer set. And so maybe I can teach you something along the way, or maybe we'll just have a little bit of fun together if you already know how to do this. But let's get started, and I'm going to take you through the kit first, and then we'll move on to some stenciling. Alrighty, so let's see. In this kit, I mentioned we have 4 stencils, and we do. So I'm going to flip this over so you can see the back of this. We've got one stencil where you can create some beautiful Christmas trees, and we've got beautiful borders on each of these stencils as well. This one has a beautiful gift border, and then over here we have kind of this little checkerboard. We've got a beautiful Create a Hearth stencil, and so we've got some gorgeous garland and wreath in here, as well as some really pretty edges or borders. We've got a beautiful winter scene here with a gorgeous snowy sky, and then down here we have a beautiful kind of snowy, icy hill. And just look at that gorgeous background that we're going to be creating. And then we also have a really, really fun holiday camper. We got a Christmas tree in here, beautiful snowy ground, and then a beautiful starry night sky. So I'm going to take you through each of these and show you how they work. These are our stencils. You can see we have multiple elements on each one. So the idea is that you can use just one stencil. You don't have to, you don't have to grab 3, 4, or 5 different stencils to create your card. You can just grab one stencil to create a beautiful, beautiful card, because we've got all of the elements all contained within each of the stencils. And the edges are like none you've seen before. They're just spectacular. We have a lot of fun with them. Now, I mentioned that there's a die set in here. This is a reverse scallop die set. There's 8 dies all together, and once we get to that portion, I'm going to go through each of these and explain what they do. And then, of course, I had told you that there's an instruction sheet in here. These are suggestions. It's for inspiration, and it kind of gives you an idea of how you can create a few cards that we've designed. So let's get started. I'm going to show you first this beautiful winter background. Now, when I'm working with stencils, I always like to protect my work surface, and I will have a little piece of scrap paper down on the table. And then I've got my what I call blender card. It's, make sure you don't use whatever blender card you like. I'm going to show you the one that I like. This is my favorite. This is what I recommend. Strathmore Bristol Smooth Surface. I cut it into A2 size, which is 4 1/4. I'll show you. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The inks will blend beautifully on this. If you have a favorite, by all means, go ahead and use whatever your favorite is. So let's see. This is the one that I want to. We're not going to recreate the card exactly, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of where we're going with it and what we're going to do. So let's see. I'm going to start off with this beautiful edge. This is like a gorgeous hill. And when I think of snow and I think of ice, I think of icy blues. So everything you're going to see me stenciling is going to be done with our hybrid inks. Our hybrid inks it's a combination ink that you can use with just about all of your craft applications. So you're going to see me stenciling with it, blending the colors together. They blend beautifully. You can also stamp with this, and you can, if you have a favorite watercolor paint that you like to work with, you can use it with that. You can use it with alcohol markers, stamping on wood surfaces, glossy surfaces, and so on. It really is a go-to ink, and I do believe HSN still has a few of these in stock if you wanted to give those a try. We've got a large variety of colors too, and they're just wonderful. It's the only ink I ever use anymore. So one of my favorite things to do, and this is kind of, I think it's important, masking. So this is going to be another tool you're going to want to have on hand. You're going to want to have some sort of a repositionable tape, and that's going to help you with masking off the areas that you don't want to get ink into. Now, because we have so many different elements on each of your stencils, you are probably going to want to mask off some of the areas just to make sure that you're not getting ink where you don't want it. So I always like to stamp or to brush into my ink and then off on my scrap piece of paper just to get any little excess. It helps to create a smoother surface. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a blue as though it's just kind of glowing. So that's going to be my little bit of snow at the bottom, that little snowy hill. And then I'm going to come in here. I love the movement in here that we've got on this stencil showing you the hills. So I'm going to use this one right here. So I'm going to mask off the areas that I don't want to get color. I'm going to mask off the side of this tree. Let's put this over here so that tree is off the page right now. Mask that off. Now, I know you're probably thinking the masking looks tedious, and you know what? It can be, but I think it's one of the most worthwhile things that you can do when you're stenciling, because that little bit of time in cutting these little squares and rectangles for your masks, it really does save you a tremendous amount of work, and it yields wonderful results. So there we go. I've masked off a couple of areas there, and I'm going to take my Marina Madness now, and I'm going to get into these little areas where I just want to have that little bit of icy blue to kind of give me the idea or suggestion that there's a little bit of an icy hill there. I like to use blue for this. If you want to use a gray for it, you can. Use whatever colors you want. I'm going to remove my masks, and let's see how we did. Isn't that pretty? It's really simple. Now, I like to use a repositionable tape for my masks because I like to reuse my masks. I'm also a real stickler about cleaning my stencil in between colors so that I don't mix my colors together. So I'm going to get a few trees in here. There we go. I'm going to mask off what I don't want. And get that one out of the way. There we go. So I'm going to change colors now to a beautiful evergreen. Make sure I get the right color brush for this. Get that one there, and this on the side, actually. Oops. I almost forgot that I need to mask off that little bit of blue that I did. There we go. And then I need one more for the edge of that tree. Go ahead and get these beautiful evergreens in here. How easy that is. It's so pretty. And then I can put a couple more. I'm going to put one of these down here. I've already got it masked. So I'm going to add it right here. And I'm going to get half of that other one too. I say half because I put it kind of like at the edge of the page. So look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me clean this off. And let's see what we have now. I think I'm going to do this little area right in here. Now, if you want to try and be really, really careful and not mask, you can give it a shot. I'm not going to do that because I'm not that good at it. But I'm going to get that little bit of blue right in there, a little hint. There we go. And then I'm going to mask that section off where I just did the blue. There we go. And this is my evergreen. Actually, there's one more I need to get here. There we go. That, I'm not sure. Oh, that's part of the tree, it looks like. Okay. I need a little more masking. I have some areas I just don't want to get. It's hard for me to see. I keep hesitating because I have the white on white here, and it's hard to see some of the areas. Let's get that little bit right there too. Oops, that's Marina Madness. I want the green. There you go. Beautiful. So easy and fun. And then the next one I'm going to attempt to do is this big tall tree here. Clean that color off there a bit. I don't want this section here, so I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to change my colors because this particular tree does not have any leaves on it. So I'm going to switch to brown. This one is coffee bean. I can see where I'm going to have an issue already. Whoops. There we go. A little more ink. And I'm just going in circles really easily, just getting the color into the stencil, just like so. And then when I lift this up, look how pretty that is. So beautiful and so easy to do. So then the last thing that I'm going to do is create kind of a bit of a snowy sky with this edge. I like to use, whenever I'm working with the sky, I like to use Marina Madness. That's this color. I'm going to come in really light. There we go. So pretty. Just look at how gorgeous that is. I'm going to do a couple of them right here. A couple more little snowflakes. Look how stunning. I mean, it literally just takes a few minutes to do a gorgeous background like that. It's so pretty. You can see how easy it is. We're so careful when we're designing these stencils because we want your crafting to be fun and easy. And we want you to be able to yield, professional looking results and with just a minimal amount of work. So let me go ahead and get this set aside and we'll move on to the next one. So that was the little snowscape first. Let me get another piece of stencil or blending card. And let's see which one. Let's move on to, let's do this one with the beautiful Christmas tree. I love this one. I think it is so fun. Now this one, while it doesn't have a scenic border, it has this beautiful checkerboard at the bottom that I am just so in love with. So I'm going to go ahead and mask off these areas. Now notice I'm using the same masks that I used on the other one, because you can reuse them. Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where you're going to want to get rid of it, but it can be reused. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, let's do, what color do I want to put on here? You know, I'm going to go with a green. Let's do a two color of green. So I'm going to use Key Lime Pie and Evergreen for this beautiful checkerboard at the bottom. So I've got my Key Lime Pie. I'm going to do first. Whenever I'm stenciling, if I'm going to be layering one color over another, I like to start with the lighter color first, because it's much easier to go dark over light. You know, you're not going to be able to put a light color over a dark color and have the light color show through. So with this now, I'm just going to kind of go here and there with the evergreen. So I put the key lime down first, and now I'm just adding some darker elements over top of that. In some areas, it'll be a little bit darker, and in some areas, it'll be a little bit lighter. And when I remove this, look at how lovely that is. It's so pretty. It's just so gorgeous, and it's just perfect. I love it. I love stenciling. I don't know how, I'll tell you, I used to do a lot of stenciling a long time ago, and I got a little bit tired of it, a little bit bored with it, until we started doing these gorgeous edges that we do. I mean, these have just completely turned stenciling around for me. I think they're incredibly special. You can create fantastic backgrounds in just a matter of minutes. Now, let me talk about this stencil, because it looks like we have 3 trees here. The center tree is a complete tree all on its own. So you can stencil that whole thing and get all that beautiful detail, all of these different patterns. The tree on either side, let me flip this over, okay? This one over here, this tree over here is going to give you the beautiful green tree. And then when you layer this one over the top of it, you're going to be filling in with the garland. So it's just gorgeous. So let's do that one first. So I'm going to, let me move it up here a little bit. And I'm going to mask off the, let me do this in the other direction. Mask off the areas that I don't want to get any color. I'm going to mask off the star at the top because I want that to be a beautiful yellow. All right, so I'm going to start with my key lime, which is my lighter green. I hope I have this straight. I didn't even pay attention to that. All right, so I add some of that lighter green. I like to do two-tone on some things because I think that it gives me a little more dimension. Now I'm going into the evergreen. And so you're going to see where some areas are a little bit lighter and a little bit darker than others. And I just think that gives some beautiful texture and dimension to it. So the next thing, I'm going to mask off the tree. Actually, I got to wipe that green off of there real quick. I'm going to mask off the tree, and I'm going to grab this beautiful golden yellow. It's called Dandelion. I got my dandelion brush, and I'm going to get that star in that gorgeous golden color there. And now I want to mask off the tree at the bottom and just get, where's my scissors? Here we go. And just get the base of the tree in a different color. I'm going to assume that it's in a pot of some sort, and I'm going to do that in a beautiful scarlet rose red. Move this over a bit. There we go. Oops, I just put my finger. I always end up with a lot of color on my fingers when I'm stenciling. I'm kind of a messy stenciler. There you go. Look how beautiful. I didn't line it up perfectly, but I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. There we go. And I think it'll still work. There we go. Beautiful. Now, let me clean this up because I have a lot of color going on here. With my green and my gold, and my red. There we go. Now I'm going to layer this other one over the top of it. Now, all right, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with color here. I think I just moved it, but that's okay. I'm going to tape it into place. So we lay that over the white areas. There we go. Position it. There we go. Tape that off there. There we go. I'm going to come in, let's see, with a beautiful red. Now I've already got green down, but red, this red that I've chosen is much darker and richer in color. So I should be able, oops, I just went over. See, that's why you have to mask. I failed. Oopsie. So I'm adding that in. I should get pretty good coverage there. And I'm going to have to see if I can fix that somehow. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my coffee color and I'm going to give that a little bit of a darker color. I'm going to go a tiny little bit with that coffee as well in the center of, there we go, just so you can see how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I did coffee over the dandelion and it looks like it's glowing. It's so beautiful, the dimension that that adds to it. We're so careful to make sure that we give you guys a lot of detail with these. Now, I'm going to see if I can correct this. One of the things I like to keep on hand is this. It's a mono eraser. It's by Tombow, and this is for ink, and it's for removing little areas that you may have inked by accident. And red is not the easiest to remove. It's not the easiest to correct, but I'm going to see how I do. It's actually coming off there pretty well. There we go. So that is a fantastic little fix. Look at that. Came right off of there. Looks like I went over in the green too. That's why you do the masking. Don't always count on the sand eraser to fix a mistake, because it's not always going to do that for you. So let's see. Oops. Now, the other tree in the center, I'm not going to go through that. You can stencil this whole beautiful gift border. You can stencil over that whole tree and put some different colors in there. It yields absolutely gorgeous results. Just play with your colors and play with your stencils and see what you get. But isn't that lovely? I think it's so pretty. So let's set that one aside. And go to, let's see, let's go to this hearth. I think this one's just lovely too. I think I say that about everything. I love them all. I'm going to turn this over just because it's getting a little bit messy and hard to see what we're doing. So this one, I want to play a little bit with this garland up at the top. We have this beautiful garland. Let me move that over. Beautiful garland with the berries and that fireplace. Actually, let me put this one down here. And let's see. I think the first thing I'm going to do is come in the center here. Because we have this fire, I'm going to lay the whole thing down in a very light brown. Because like I said, we start light. And I'm going to start with iced tea. I'm going to mask off a few areas here with the masks that I have already. And let's see how we do with this. Brush off a lot of that iced tea, and I'm going to go really light because I want to make sure that I can go over this with other colors. And I just want to have this little, is going to be kind of in the background. All right. So there we go. That's the initial, the first pass, so to speak. Let's wipe that off of there. And then the next one, I've got this gorgeous area here for that flame that I want to do in dandelion. This is my dandelion yellow. Look at that. It's like an orangey yellow. It's so pretty. So let's get that in there. So we have a gorgeous flame. Oh, look how pretty. And I want to make this log the darker brown. What did I do? Here we go. So the log is going to be coffee bean. Very pretty. And then I have one more little thing that I think I'm going to tweak. I think I want the inside of that flame to be red, which means that I'm going to mask off the area around it. Just like this, using the existing masks that I have. I should be able to get away with, oops, just those masks there. And I'm going to grab this scarlet rose and go right in the center there, just to make that flame really hot. Look how pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Easy. I'm telling you, there's nothing as rewarding as crafting that is easy and fun and yields spectacular results. So now I'm going to go over this with the next layer of the hearth. And so if you remember, I already laid down the iced tea. Flip that around, iced tea. So I'm going to go carefully with the coffee bean around because I don't want to get into the red of that flame. And I'm not worried about coming in on that because that's going to give me a little bit of a shadow look. Look how pretty that is. It's just lovely. I think it's gorgeous. I'm telling you, stenciling, it just doesn't get any easier, and any more, I almost said funner, any funner. I was not an English major. Okay, so let's have a little bit of fun with this garland, shall we? I'm going to lay that garland over there. I'm going to cut another strip. There we go, to mask that off. And the garland I'm going to do in this beautiful, actually, oops, I just put my finger in it. I'm going to use this key lime green here. See how we do with coverage. I do need to mask off the areas on the side of the fireplace mantle because I don't want to get the garland in there. Come right over there with that beautiful green. Oh, that's so pretty. Let's see, this is my evergreen. I'm just going to hit a little bit with some evergreen. And then my next thing I'm going to do is see if we can bring those berries to life with the scarlet red, scarlet rose. So I'm pulling off my mask, putting it on the other area now. I'll lay this on the berries. Let me find the berries. There they are. And then my scarlet color. There we go, just over those berries to richen those up. Look at that. Oh my gosh. You could create an amazing scene with that. It's so pretty. Now, one more little thing that I want to show you on here. And I don't have a pencil, but I'll do it differently, I guess. If I had a pencil, I would use a pencil, and I would suggest you use a pencil, but I don't have one with me. We have this build a wreath kind of a thing going on here. It's all for layering. This little line here is where I would put the pencil mark, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have a pencil. So if I want to put a wreath, let's say over the top here, I'm going to line this up. I would mark that little thing with a pencil, that little spot there, and I'm saying pencil because you can erase that then, all right? I'm going to come in with my really light key lime green, very faint, over, there we go, over that wreath. All right, so now I can see where the wreath is. I'm going to move this over. Actually, what I forgot to do to help me line that up is go over that little mark with it as well. All right, so now I have that little mark there. I don't know if you can see it, but that helps me to line up. There we go, there's the mark. That helps me to line up the different aspects of the stencil. All right, there we go. So now I can go in with my darker green, which is my evergreen. All right. There we go. And then I can line it up again. I'm going to go with the lighter green on these leaves and brighten those up more. So this is my key lime. Make those really good and bright. And then I'm going to move to my scarlet rose for those beautiful, oops, berries. Still lining up that mark. Where's my mark? There's the mark right there. Scarlet rose. Ooh, I should tape that because I know I will go outside. There we go. Tape that off. Get my scarlet rose in here for those berries. And then when I lift that up, look at that beautiful, beautiful wreath. And then all I have to do for that little mark is erase it. If I used pencil, then I could just use a regular eraser, but I didn't. I can still erase it with my little mono eraser. So it works beautifully. Isn't that stunning? So that's how you use that stencil. If you want to add, a little ribbon, you can add a ribbon to it. But isn't that beautiful? I mean, the backgrounds that you can create with these stencils, I can't say enough how spectacular they are. They really are a lot of fun, and they're very easy to use. So get that cleaned off. And then the next one that I want to show you, I've already stenciled just to save us a little bit of time. Excuse me. This is that camper. And I've gone ahead and stenciled it already because I wanted to talk to you about some other little elements with it. So you're going to stencil it in the same way. Just to kind of give you a quick little rundown of how I did the stencil. You know, this is your beautiful night sky, and I used 2 blues. I lined it up just like that. I started with a light blue, and then I went with a darker blue, and I masked off what I didn't want. And then, oh, and this is on an A2 card base, by the way. And then I went ahead and I stenciled the camper. And then I stenciled some beautiful snow at the bottom because that's what that little scape is at the bottom there. It's a little snowscape at the bottom, and I did a couple layers of that. All right. And so this is where we are with this. It's, excuse me, I'm sorry. I had to get a little drink. All right, so here we go. This is where we are with this stencil. And I wanted to show you some of the other elements that are in this kit. Now, this kit comes with a die set, and so this outer die here is what I used to cut this, the card base. It's actually a card topper. So see that beautiful stitching on there? That is what that outer die is going to give you. The second die on the inside, if you layer those together, if you cut with those both together, you're going to get beautiful frames just like this. Isn't that gorgeous? It has that interior, or we call it a reverse scallop. So if I wanted to lay this, and I've got them in a couple of different colors over here too. Let me see. If I wanted to layer it, let's say I have this one here, and I wanted to give a beautiful frame. Just look how that changes. Isn't that gorgeous? And you do that by cutting with those 2 outer dies together. All right. Same goes with, let's say, this Christmas tree. I have one of the frames here in red. Just look at how stunning that is when you lay that over top. All right. So you have a lot of options with the dies that are included in this set as well. So I also want to mention this is a door die right here. It will cut on 3 sides, and it'll score on the inside. And so when I lay that die over here and I cut it, run it through the machine, I can now open this door because it's scored it on the one side and only cut it on 3. So now I have a door that opens and closes, completely interactive. This is a window right here. When I take this die and I cut cardstock, for example, I get a window that is going to also open. I can have it open from the side, depending on how I put this on the card. You have little score lines, so you just have to help this a little bit so that it opens. There we go. So when I lay this down here, I can have this window open to the side. I can have it open from the bottom up. All right. So I can adhere that right down in there. I could also use that to cut the window through, through the camper itself if I wanted to do that. So let me show you how this can layer up. Here's a card base. I can layer this up very simply just like this. And then, oh, we've also got two other dies in here. We have a beautiful little frame here that you can put a sentiment in, and it's got stitching. And you'll see these in, let me see. Yep, you'll see it right here. In your instructions, we have that little frame right there where you can stamp a sentiment and include that on your card. We also have a sample in here of how you can stamp a sentiment on the tag that you use to cut with this tag die over here. And you can stamp your sentiment and put that on your card as well. Incredibly versatile. You have a lot going on here. And then I also want to show you these little stamps, these little characters. Oh, here's the tree that I just kind of hand cut that out. We have these beautiful little characters. They're holiday cheer. It's a holiday cheer stamp and die set that is also available. And so I've cut all of them. I've actually stamped them and I've colored them. Look how cute these are. We've got this guy. If you want to put him on, look at, he's on his little sled. Look at him. He can go right down that hill. How cute is that? They're so sweet. You can color them up however you like, whatever colors you want to use. I can incorporate these into this card, for example. If I want to put her on the inside here, like she's decorating the tree, so when you open up the door, you see her. How cute. If I want to have, she's got her little cookies here. If I want to put her behind the window, I can have her behind that window and just trim off the edges here so that you don't see them, and then you would see her behind that window. Instead of the tree, for example, maybe I want to put that there, and maybe he's running to go put a letter in the mailbox. Maybe some of the mail has fallen out of the mailbox down onto the ground. Oh, here's a little doorknob. That's also a part of your set. Look at the doorknob. The little dog could be running with him. They're just so sweet. They're just so cute. There's so many different things you can do with them. I absolutely love these sets. They're incredibly versatile. I mean, you really can't go wrong with them. They're incredibly versatile. You know, I've colored these up with Christmas colors for these characters, but you don't have to color them with Christmas colors. You can just put them on a winter card so that you extend the use of them. You know, you can use these characters starting anywhere from October all the way into March and April, because there could be some snow on the ground, or maybe you don't use the sleigh. Maybe you just have, you know, the little characters who have the little hat, and you know, and they can be used all winter long as well. So you can really extend the use of them, the life of them. Anyway, I get so much fun showing you guys these kits, or this kit. Both of these kits actually, because we do have a stamp and die kit in here as well. So they're incredibly versatile. And oh, and you know, we have the two kits. So we have the Everyday Fun stencil kit, and then we have this holiday one as well. And then both of those stamp sets with the characters, you can mix and match those as well. So, you know, make sure you're taking a look at all the kits and seeing how you can combine them together as well as using them on their own. So I hope you guys learned a little something about how fun our stencils are. I hope I showed you guys some little tips and tricks that you find useful. Thank you so much for joining me. I had an absolute blast, and you know, make sure to tune in for some more videos as well. Oh, and I should probably mention, I do some weekly craft-alongs, and we do them right here on YouTube, and they are live. I'd love for you guys to join us. I do them on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and we cover all kinds of fun projects throughout the weeks. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it is live, so you can ask questions, and we interact, and it's a lot of fun. It's only an hour long. So I hope you guys will join me Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. Make sure you check out HSN for these kits because they are spectacular. And when they're gone because they are exclusive on HSN. They're the only place you're going to be able to find them. So I hope you will enjoy them. Thank you so much for being with me today. I had a wonderful time, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come. Thanks so much. Bye.